every ranch has got, you got guys that are good, and then you got the ones that just are there, you know. I mean, Buck Tully could rope, but not real good. And he could ride a bucking horse, but not real good. And he could tell a pregnant cow from a steer, but not real well. You know, he had to look twice. You know, he was one of them guys that just was there. But he was the best guy I ever had in camp. And I put him in there, he'd keep himself entertained doing anything. Well, anyway, after the first day I was able to ride, after I got well, Buck Tully and I went out and we gathered up this little bunch of cattle. And there were little bunch of, we were re-riding an area that had been gathered before. And we picked up a cow and a bull of Simplots. So we drove the cattle up to where we were going to cut over and put them on a new range. So I took the bull and the cow and we're trailing them down the canyon to a little wire trap we had down there. And I was going to lock them up and then call Simplot, have them come get them. So Buck takes off with the cows, our cows, to push them up what they call Coffee Pot Creek. And I take the bull, and, well, they got tired and the bull willowed up. And he got on the fight. So I chased him around one side, chased him around the other. Anyway, he wouldn't come out. And so the cow trotted on down the trail a little ways. We'd already trailed them probably 15, 18 miles. So they were pretty well played out. And so anyway, Buck pushes the cows up. He comes down. And I was riding a little brown colt that I called Gus. And he really reminded me of this brown horse out here, real gentle, you know, nice kind of a colt. And Buck was riding an old sorrel horse, used to buck me off all the time. And anyway, his name was Jake. I told Buck, I says, the bull's in his willows right here. And he was in a little patch of willows, just, you know, maybe 10 feet across and 10 feet deep, but it was solid. And there's just one opening at the front of it. Big old Simbra bull, Simmental Bramer cross. And so I took my pistol out, loaded a birdshot, and I handed to Buck, and I said, go chase him out. Well, I assumed that he would go around to the back and shoot him in the rump, and he would run out, and then we'd turn him down the deal. He walked around to the front, to this opening, and I thought, you know, this is going to get good here in just about a minute. So he walks up there, and I said, you're not close enough, Buck, a little closer. So he walks up a little further, and pretty soon he's in this hole, and the hole's about as wide as that right there, and he's standing in the middle of it. He says, I said, that ought to be close enough. So he pulls this pistol up and he goes, pow! And way less time than it takes to tell it. The gun went off, hit that bull in the end of the nose. The bull come flying out. He hit Buck. I saw him go up in the air, and this is the real truth. He went up in the air and he did a flip. The bull plows into my horse, knocks my horse over on top of me. The bull dives over me and gone. And I look out there, Buck come, you know, my horse hits the ground and laying on top of me, and then Buck lands in a pile of it's a spring right there, old muck and slimy, wet willow dirt, you know, mud and so, and he's just laying there. And I'm pinned under my horse, and the horse staggers around and he gets up off of me, and I look over there and Buck's dead. He's killed him, you know, just laying there. And Buck wore these Tom Mix hats, you know, they're this big around, and he had one of them big old Fu Manchu mustaches, you know, and down like this, and he's laid down like this, and he's just laying there. So I sat up and I thought, you know, I don't know where to send his stuff. I don't know who his next of kin is, and I don't even know how I'm going to get his body out of here. Do I leave it lay for the coroner or what? And I'm sitting there looking at him, and I see this big old huge black hat raise up, and Buck had little beady brown eyes, and these little eyes are looking out from underneath it, and they're kind of looking around, and he raises up a little higher, and the mud and muck's dripping off this mustache, and he says, is he gone? And I started to laugh. And when I started to laugh, Buck sits up, you know, and he starts to laugh, and I thought, you know, I told him, I said, you son of a gun, I thought you were dead out there. Anyway.